Hello and welcome to our podcast discussion. I'm Mary Rose Sanborn.
And I'm Kyle Pollack.
And we also have Katie McCardle, who is our production manager. Today we'll be talking about Fall Welcome and examining the dialogue from different leaders and alumni of Michigan State University.
Fall Welcome and Move-In is a tradition of colleges across the state, the conference, and the nation. At MSU, it is a reunion and return for college life for upperclassmen and an introduction or crash course for new students. Welcome Week consists of activities and events in the days leading up to the first day of class. For freshmen, international students, and transfer students, Move-In and Welcome was a week-long time for adjustment and transition. Such a student-centered event required collaboration and coordination between resident life staff, campus clubs and groups, and MSU administration. That was the case, at least, until 2006, when everything changed.
In 2006, the once 7-day Welcome Week was cropped to just 5 days. Then, after the fall of 2007, the end of the summer event was reduced again to its current state, a 2-day Fall Welcome. Reasons cited by the MSU administration claim that a longer welcome period means more opportunities for dangerous, reckless behavior, increased crime activity, and, as a result, a negative impact on MSU's overall academic status. ASMSU opposed the administration's alteration of the week, since it occurred without seeking student input or approval. The group openly supports Welcome Week in its full extended version and is an invaluable time for new students to explore campus, move in their new spaces, decode schedules, purchase books, and form important relationships.
By analyzing the rhetoric of various MSU groups involved in the Welcome Week debate, we examine the importance of Welcome Week, what it has meant, and what it will mean to Michigan State University.
Our interviewees came from different generations and walks of life, but have Michigan State as a common ground. Each holds a distinct position on welcome, and voices their opinions with often subtle rhetorical strategies. According to scholar Nancy Wood in Essentials of Argument, at the core of a persuasive arguments framework are 3 elements: the claim, the support, and the warrant. Using this approach, we identify the persuasive elements of rhetoric in each interested party's argument. Each party presents one or more claims about their beliefs regarding Welcome Week, as well as coordinating supports and warrants. According to Killingsworth, Appeals in Modern Rhetoric, a rhetorical appeal is intended to plead one's case by directing their argument at a specific audience. These devices include appeals to authority, the body, gender, time, and place. These rhetorical appeals and more are present in the debate surrounding Welcome Week. Examining the perspectives of our sources reveals the differences in opinions about what the purpose of Fall Welcome should be. We first spoke with Dr. Douglas Eastry, the MSU Associate Provost for Undergraduate Education and Dean of Undergraduate Studies. He is involved with freshman convocation, introductions to the colleges, and was involved in the early process of reconceptualization with Fall Welcome. His responses to the question reflect the opinions of the upper echelons of MSU, the top administrative persons at the school. Dr. Eastry explained that the main purpose of Fall Welcome is to have a very basic introduction to MSU, and that the goal of shortening Welcome Week ensures that Fall Welcome will be used for this intended purpose.
Fall Welcome was really an opportunity to get inducted into the university formally, to get themselves settled on campus, and to meet their colleges once again, and we pretty much limited to that. The students said to us, we need time to, for instance, unpack our bags, set up our rooms, go to the bookstore, walk around campus and get familiar with the campus, go out to Myers and get groceries or those kind of things. And so what we tried to do was take all of this stuff out of Fall Welcome that over the years everybody had decided to put into Fall Welcome that were basically, we need to tell students everything they need to know at the beginning. Well, I would challenge right now, if I were to ask you, how much of all that do you remember? And it's probably relatively little. And as we really began to think about it, what is it that we really want students to experience, both at AOP and Fall Welcome? The challenge for students is there's lots of other things that are going on. Party at the Odd, there's Midnight Madness, all these individual groups around campus that are having activities or events. And the problem with that is, once again, the time begins to get too packed. And we're again pushing back to say some of those things students don't need to do the first 2 days that they're here at Michigan State University. They need to do them at a time where they're more relevant to them. So we're trying to keep moving them out and keep asking the question, is this really something that the students need to know at the beginning, on the first 2 days that they're here, when what they're telling us is what they really are concerned about is just having some space to get used to being at Michigan State University before they start classes.
Dr. Eastry claims that the large number of student events which took place during Welcome Week were not essential to an introduction to the university. His supports include removing student extra activities during Fall Welcome will help ease the students' move. He also cites evidence of responses received from students more worried about moving in and finding classes than attending extracurricular activities. Here he uses an appeal to time, suggesting that the time students have is needed to unpack, get ready, and go to the necessary convocation and college events. He also makes a subclaim, questioning what information students retain and use from events. Dr. Eastry's warrant of what a proper introduction to the university includes differs from that of Katie Liming, a resident mentor in West Circle. As a paid resident life staff member and floor mentor, her role and perspective in Fall Welcome is that of someone who is a direct guide for several dozen new freshman students integrating into the MSU community. Lyman gave her take on the purpose of Welcome Week.
Just meeting people, and just getting to know the floor, getting to know their building, their complex, their school, because, it is those first few weeks where, if they don't get involved, if they don't start to form that community, then they might not. So we, as mentors, really push for those first 2 weeks, especially. That's why we have so many events. Just so one thing clicks. One thing is like, I like this group. I like this activity. I'm interested in this. Just so students have something, hopefully that might continue through the rest of the year. I mean, something else probably will come up, but if we just, find them one niche in the university, just to make it a smaller place, then we've done our job. Mm-hmm. School's hard. It's nice, and they're, especially as freshmen, they need some support group from the beginning, if in order to succeed throughout the rest of the year.
Liming's warrant is that the purpose of Welcome Week is not only an introduction to the university, but to MSU community, in order to find a close niche to grow and develop with over the years. She explains her duty as a mentor to help students find something to be a part of early on. For this reason, Liming claims that a longer Welcome Week would be more beneficial. Her support is that student success during their college career is dependent on finding support groups early on. With this, she says, they will have a better chance for success as the years roll on. Liming also uses an appeal to time, but unlike Dr. Eastry, stresses the importance of forging supportive relationships with other students at the beginning of the year. Another warrant of Dr. Eastry's is that a 2-day period for Fall Welcome is an ample amount of time for students to acclimate to MSU. However, former ASMSU President Kara Spencer rejected this warrant in her email to the MSU faculty in 2008. Spencer received a permanent slash on her MSU record as a result of the email addressed to the faculty, seeking their support in opposing the sudden changes made to Welcome Week. In the message, she makes a claim based off her assumption that students do not have enough time to settle in their dorms and that more students will prefer living off campus. Spencer wrote, "The inability of students to have adequate time to settle in prior to the start of classes will likely drive more students to opt for living off campus, undermining one of the main objectives of the university, increasing retention of students in on-campus housing." Spencer also appeals to logic in her claim. The university shortening Welcome Week is counterintuitive to their own goals, and logically will have a negative impact on MSU. 2008 MSU grads Josh and Megan disagreed with Dr. Eastry's support that extracurricular events do not play an important role in an introduction to the university.
Then in the fall, that opening week was a lot of fun, just a lot of events on campus, a lot of the local part of the community, a lot of the stores did great specials, great deals, a lot of university sponsored events, just to get to know the entire place. It was one big party, a lot of fun too. But yeah, that covered pretty much that entire opening couple weeks of school in the fall of 2000.
Welcome Week was like something I depended on when I transferred there, because it's like you need time to get acclimated and be able to, you know, get your bearings. I picked one day of every day of Welcome Week just to go to each class and make sure I understood where I was going so I wasn't late for class. You know, you just need time up there. It was a perfect way to meet people because everyone was just there and able to truly experience MSU before having to worry too much about the studies. So it was great. We really enjoyed it. You know, really it's just like a big community thing. It really helped us bond as a student body, I think.
Good time to get back in the college mood.
Seriously.
After being home with parents for a summer.
And it wasn't all about drinking and partying. It was really about experiencing Michigan State.
A lot of cited support in this debate, whether for or against the shortening of Welcome Week, circles around the students' safety and criminal activity. There was a state news article released earlier this year titled, "Police Expect Less Crime with Shorter Fall Welcome." This really reflects the deep chasm that divides differing opinions in this matter. This was released in August of 2011. MSU Police Sergeant Florine McLaughlin-Taylor had this to say: "We have a lot less problems with the change." And by change, she's pointing out the shorter fall welcome. Another quote by Patrick Mack, a very recent graduate of MSU, is also someone who understands and appreciates the time given to explore the city before classes begin. And he said, "I don't think the drinking or the possibility of the drinking outweighs figuring things out. I don't see benefits in shortening fall welcome." And here, the interesting aspect of fall welcome debate arises when appeals such as the ones expressed in this state news article are made to authority. The question becomes, who holds authority when it comes to making decisions about Welcome Week? Well, legally, it's the MSU administration who possesses the necessary power and resources to implement changes. But in fact, it's the students who participate in the events and ultimately determine their success. This article allocates authority to the MSU police, but also to the MSU students. Both are given the chance to communicate a strong, informed voice on the matter of Welcome Week investigative criminal activity. So Kara Spencer, former director of ASMSU and now president of ASMSU Alumni Association, she shares the same concern for student safety. But something she points out, even after the week-long event was shortened to the weekend, the desired outcomes of increased student safety and academic aptitude are not fully achieved. She cited record number of arrests this year during fall welcome. In the past 2 years, the number of MSU students arrested has increased.
I think that if you talk with the East Lansing courts, they will tell you that there have been record number of arrests this year during Welcome Week and in the weeks following, so that the desired impact hasn't really been achieved with the policy. They may have kept a number of outside non-MSU students from coming to Michigan State to party for that week, possibly, but I think you would have to look at the arrest records for fall welcome time and the week following to see whether those arrests are for MSU students or others. But we know for a fact that as far as the arrests for MSU students, it's actually increased, not decreased, in the past 2 years to the courts.
Note that here, Spencer used the same appeal to the authority of the police that the media, the administration, and some of the students have made. All these are based on the warrant or widely held belief that the Michigan State Police are honest, credible, and a legitimate institution. So we spoke with Josh and Megan, the MSU alumni, who shed some insight on student safety. These two Spartans were good students at Michigan State and now responsible citizens. They don't identify with the reckless party reputation that some outsiders place on MSU. And from the responses in this interview, both feel strongly about Welcome Week and its importance to students as a time for acclimation and learning about their new school. They feel some of the actions taken against Welcome Week were poorly made decisions, and different approaches to any problems with the event should have been used.
I think their intentions were good,
Yeah.
but I think it was too broad of a brush to say okay, we're just going to wipe it out because there's too many, we're having too many issues with this, therefore we must just wipe it out and take it away from everybody. And if people want to be idiots, people can be idiots anywhere in any type of situation.
Right. It's not just welcome.
Yeah, universities can only stretch its reach so far. They don't need to take away privileges of many of the good students that enjoyed it for a couple of bad apples that over-partied.
Dr. Estrai, in his claim that compromising some of the enjoyable social aspects of Welcome Week is worth it when considering the safety and security of students, he shares the belief with MSU grads Josh and Megan that the problems with inebriation and crime during Welcome Week are the result of a fraction of the students becoming out of control. And these problems don't reflect the student majority of the body. So, Dr. Estray's warrant concerns of safety, no matter how small the risks, are above the student social interactions and fitting into the community as a whole, whereas that of the students, the safety is relative to the student's personal choices in the situation, and Welcome Week is only as dangerous as decisions the student makes for themselves.
What we had to weigh that against was this other issue of, number of trips to the hospital, number of students getting violently ill because they were too drunk, number of students getting injured, number of students getting preyed on, that kind of thing. And how much was too much? Clearly, I don't believe for a minute that it was the majority of our students were getting it. That's not at all the case. But is one or two students getting hurt or getting injured as a result of this too much? What can't we live with? The president and the provost really felt that we were at a point where we needed to take some actions to the best of our ability to reduce the risk to the students.
After thoroughly examining the rhetorical appeals used throughout the Welcome Week dialogue, as well as the warrants that govern the arguments, we see a merging of ASMSU's purpose with that of Michigan State students. Although the supports and sometimes warrants behind the arguments of these two differ widely, the outcomes that both groups desire are one and the same. Students are seeking a chance to grow into college students during their first days at MSU. ASMSU wants these students to have what they need, and to have a fair say in the planning of a week that could alter the rest of their lives. On the opposing side is an equally robust and imposing force, the MSU Office of the Provost, and on up, to the highest reaches of MSU's administrative domain. They cite safety as a main concern, student welfare being a useful, valid matter that no one wants to ignore. To do so would risk too much. Looking back on our experiences during Welcome Week, we have mixed feelings. It was fun. There was so much going on. I wish I had one more day at home. I wish I had one more day before class. It is arguably one of the most emotional weeks that a student will experience while he or she is at MSU. Shouldn't every measure be taken to carefully construct this week to meet the highest possible expectations? Even if this means undergoing more discussion, disagreement, and compromise, it would be worth it if this meant that students were that much more prepared to face not only their first semester of college classes, but their first semester of college life. Maybe this means leaving Fall Welcome exactly as it is, or it could involve a complete overhaul of the entire move-in program. Whether it is a welcome month or a welcome hour, everyone at MSU, from student organizations to the dozens of offices in the Hannah Administration Building, should be dedicated to making it the best possible experience for every Spartan, novice or veteran. We are Spartans after all, and we have a profession. So, welcome to MSU, and go State!